Yo guys, here is a quick video coming at you. I believe it'll help people with red fishing in general and fishing in general. So I'm gonna make a video really quickly telling you my top things I do when I'm searching for redfish. So let's say you're going fishing, right? And you're looking for redfish. It's a hot summer's day, you know, it's been hot. So you want to find some redfish. The very first thing I'm doing is I'm checking the tide. I don't care what time it is. I don't care if you're going out there at daylight, being out at your spot at the crack of dawn. If you don't have tide, and if your tide is high or whatever, you're not getting bites. You might get a couple, but you're not doing it right. That's why I like to fish a lot in the evening time, because that tide won't start falling until 3 o'clock, and that's when those fish start rolling. They get crazy. So number one is tide. Number two, bait. So if you're driving around in your boat and you're in a canal, you know, back canal system, if you're not seeing bait, if you're not seeing mullet, grass shrimp, you know, pogies, shrimp, whatever, crabs, there's a great chance you're not going to find any redfish. So bait, you have to find bait. And that leads me back to number one. A lot of times you will be fishing an area where there is fish and there is bait. But if you don't have tide, it looks like you're fishing in a swimming pool. You would never know that there were any fish there. Once that tide starts, it brings everything to life, gets things moving. So tide is very important. It's the number one thing. Next, you're looking for bait. If you're in a canal system, you don't see bait, great chance you're not going to find any fish. The next thing it leads me to is depth. Because if you have a big boat and you're not able to get as shallow as these reds go, there's a good chance you're not going to catch any. A lot of people, what they do in bigger boats, they'll post up, like they'll find a cut and they'll post up in front of the cut, right? And they'll throw into the cut and they'll get a couple fish here and there. But if you're able to get inside those littler canal systems with, you know, 6 to 8 inches of water, 10 inches, that's where your fish are. That's where they like to hunt. That's where they like to feed. Now, if it gets so low that it's like 2 inches, 3 inches back there, them reds are coming out into the main canal, and that's when you could tear them up. So look for like main canals that lead into cut off of smaller canals, and especially when your water's low, those fish will push out of those along with the bait, and your main canal will be holding all those fish that are usually pressed way back in the backs of those smaller cuts. So you want to look for tide. So if your tide starts falling at 7 a.m., you want to be out there. That's, you know, tide is very important. But if you go out at daylight and the tide's like at the end of an incoming tide and your water's super high and you got to wait for it to start falling, you're going to hit some dead zones where you're just going to be fishing and you're going to get bothered and aggravated, and you're going to say, man, these fish aren't biting. It's timing. I fish a lot of water when it's dead time, and I promise you, you would think there's no fish in the whole area, and you would just be like, oh, I'm going home, it's hot. But if you can get out there at the right time and wait it out, it's going to flip. That switch will go flip, and it's over. Them fish start going crazy. You'll start hearing them, you'll start seeing them, the bait will start stirring. So tide, bait, depth, and the lure is kind of, depending on what the fish are doing, it's kind of up to you. If you want to have fun with topwater, they will hit a topwater. If you want to throw a spoon, they will hit a spoon. But if you're trying to cover water and just move and, you know, pick off fish as you're going with the trolling motor, I cannot recommend a lure any better than a chatterbait or a spinner bait. So like a spinner with a 1/4 ounce jig head on it with a gulp, or a matrix shad, something you could, you know, pitch and move, throw and move. That is going to lead you to success with catching redfish. Now you got your live bait, of course, live bait will work. But if you're a lure, if you want to throw lures and do all that, tide, water depth, bait. Got to keep your eyes open too. If you're not seeing fish, they're not there properly. If you got prime time conditions, you're not seeing head wakes in those shallows, hearing pops here and there, those fish probably aren't there. Time to find a new spot. So that's a little advice I can give, because I know people want to hear it. and want to, you know, there's some people I know out there that are just getting into it and trying to find redfish, and they're struggling. So this is a little advice for you, kind of. This isn't really a try hard video. This is just me giving my personal, what I do when I go out there. If I get out there and I know there's no fish in that area after a while and I'm not seeing anything, I'm moving. I'm going, and I got tied. I'm like, yeah, let me go find some bait. Let me see some mullet jumping, some bait swimming, some head wigs. That's what you want to look for. So if you guys have any questions, I would elaborate further for you if you want. I don't mind. I want to help people out. So hit me up. Let me know. Any questions at all, feel free. Thank you guys for watching, and if this was helpful, just give me a like. If not, just say, hey, dude, what are you talking about? I don't know. Anyway, you guys have a good one.